Hello everyone, my name is Numeraya, you can call me Numa, and welcome to my first ever commentary video. If you are long enough in the Wings of Fire fandom, there is a huge chance you heard about the Glorbrinker Controversy. Basically, it's about a 6 years age gap between the characters of Glory and Deathbringer. When I first heard about this, I didn't look too deep. I checked the wiki and decided this is not something I should worry about. I changed my mind and thought maybe I should offer my own take on the topic. There's something that really bugs me, not even the controversy itself, but specifically about the discussion and a lot of misinformation surrounding it. Before we start, I better say this now, I personally ship Glorybringer. I like their chemistry, their dialogue, and even how they look together. In my I Ship It drawing, I put them at because it's hot place, which for the record I saw more at it has the most chemistry. There wasn't really any Wings of Fire couple I could put here because, surprise surprise, I don't find giant lizards particularly attractive. Even there are probably people on the internet who would disagree with me.
I have a question for God. Why?
I want to make this clear. What bothers me about this controversy is not that it's about the Glorybringer. No romance should justify child abuse, and I would not defend any ship which supports it. My problem is in the discussion about this couple, there is a lot of people who use their own headcanons to measure characters' age. And I feel like they forget that these age charts are not the official source. Like, yeah, you can say that by using this chart, Deathbringer would be 27 in human years. However, I can say that he's 20 and both arguments would technically hold the same weight. I would like to look at this controversy solely through material we can find in the books, without any assumptions or fan work. Now, dragon aging can be extremely confusing. I'm not the first person to point it out, so bear with me. Dragons are supposed to be adults at the age of 7 and then their growing process rapidly slows down. It's unclear at which point they are no longer considered dragonettes, because we have an example of a 9-year-old still being called a dragonette, and the first character deliberately described as being too old for it is Onyx, who's 19. Tui said she reads her protagonists as if they were human teens, but for what we know, in the books they are considered legal adults. From this comment from Sunny's mother, we know that at the time of the first arc, all dragonettes are close to adulthood. Then things start to get messy because we are not sure what the age of consent is in this world. If we decide that none of dragonettes can date people older than 7, then by that logic most of their ships are problematic. Pearl is only a year older than Clay, but she's still an adult, and Riptide was at least 8 when he first met Tsunami. And his first reaction was to throw himself at her.
FBI, open up!
Let's try to determine how old Deathbringer is supposed to be. When he's introduced, he's described as being noticeably younger and smaller than Morosir. There are a few instances of older dragons calling him in diminutive matter, like Blaze calling him cute, or other Nightwings mocking him, calling him pet assassin. To me, that means although he is older than dragonettes, he's not considered more mature. I didn't find any examples of him being called a dragonette, but in Book 7 Winter sees him as being a few years older. I feel like these comments would be much different if he really was intended to be written as an adult man. At the end of the day, we don't really have an answer about Deathbringer's age. All we can do is speculate, which is not a bad thing on its own, but it's something we have to keep in mind when analyzing this controversy. I heard some fans trying to argue that age difference doesn't matter simply because we are talking about dragons, not humans. People call this argument stupid, and normally I would agree. I mean, if one of the characters suddenly became a meth addict, I wouldn't justify that just because they are different species. But the key aspect of this controversy is the aging process. process which, as I mentioned earlier, is very unclear. We can't tell if the 6 years age gap is a problem because we don't know. Let's move on from the age gap for now. I'm aware this isn't the only thing people take issue with. Many claim that the relationship itself is far from perfect, that it's toxic or abusive. But there's something that I notice about this discussion. Many people admit they used to like Glorybringer but find out about the age gap and now feel conflicted. That made me wonder, if the ship really was rotten from the start, why no one took issue with it before the ages were revealed? I mean, with Spotted Leaf's heart, people sensed something was wrong before the damn thing even hit the shelves. The relationship between Glory and Deathbringer may come as problematic because of their teasing and constant arguing with each other, which I think it's intended by the author. They are supposed to be enemies to lovers after all. Which doesn't work for some people, and it doesn't have to. I'm not trying to convince anyone to ship Glorybringer. If you find this dynamic annoying or just not your cup of tea, that's fine. You don't have to like ship because it's popular or canon, that's ridiculous. But I do take an issue with exaggerating what is essentially harmless pickering to the point of calling it actual harassment. If someone who didn't read the book saw some of these comments, they would think that Glory is some helpless victim unable to stand up for herself. Which, I think we all know it's not exactly true.
No, I'm not sure about that one. I don't know if that checks out.
One of the less known arguments against this couple is that we can't be certain how Glory feels about Deathbringer. Except we can. We literally can see because there are multiple instances of her turning pink whenever she's thinking or talking to him. But okay, I do acknowledge that occasional signs of affection don't always equal a good relationship. Glory is often dismissive of Deathbringer, refuses to accept his help, and constantly throws snarky comments at him. But I have a question. Is this really that different from her getting annoyed with Tsunami? Or suspicious of Starflight when he goes missing? Or thinking that Clay wants to replace her with Peril? Those are dragons she knows her whole life and considers her family. Hiding any signs of emotional attachment from people she loves is not out of character for Glory. Do you really expect to suddenly change that just because she met the right guy? But wait, what about the Stalker argument? In the Brightest Night, Glory said to Deathbringer to stop following her when he appeared on a meeting with other dragonets. However, she seems comfortable enough to speak with him in a jokey manner, allows him to stay in Rainwing's village, and listens to his suggestion while discussing their strategy. And though Glory definitely is able to protect herself, she just became a queen of dragons who, a few days ago, saw her tribe as lesser beings. I think a bodyguard who knows how to fight them might be pretty useful. One of the most common traits of abuse is uneven power dynamics. Abusers control victims by isolating them from their friends, family, and people who can provide help. This is not the case with Glorybringer. Deathbringer doesn't try to manipulate Glory, even when the story provides him multiple occasions to do so. In the rainforest, he doesn't even try to convince her to untie him. Instead, he simply suggests Glory to wait for her friends. And later, he brings Clay with him to the volcano to help him get her out from the Nightwing prison. He sacrifices himself, betrays his tribe, and remains loyal to her through the whole series. But also, he acts smack sometimes, so I guess we have no choice to write him off as a creep. What a shame. Deathbringer also doesn't try to dismiss Glory because of her age or insult her capability to rule 2 tribes. There is no situation when he's trying to intimidate her or overpower her. He doesn't try to get advantage of her queen status and influence her decision only when he's worrying about her safety. I agree that he acts overprotective, but I can't call him unreasonable when Glory is the only dragon keeping 2 tribes intact and Deathbringer is probably the only Nightwing who actually wants her to be their queen. In Winter Tuning, he is openly called by Glory as her bodyguard. Some fans take issue with that as she already has a squad of Rainwings ready to fight for her, which is a complaint that I do not agree and don't really understand. First of all, is he not allowed to defend his friend? He has skills to do so and knows about a dangerous Icewing who already tried to kill one of the Dragoness of Destiny. And second, I feel like people forget about this comment from Glory after the Rainwing guards get introduced. Yes, it looks like the invisible guard was Deathbringer's idea. Maybe because a tribe who did nothing but eat and take naps for most of their life isn't exactly the best in organizing a military. Especially without Tsunami yelling at them. Now, let's move on to my favorite part of this controversy. Misinformation.
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
Some of them, like getting the characters' ages wrong, I can excuse as unintentional mistakes. Because math is hard. But there are also stuff that I found really disingenuous. I saw some people saying that Deathbringer was silent when Darkstalker tried to challenge Glory for the Nightwing throne. That is not true. Not even up to interpretation, just objectively not true. Unless what they mean is Deathbringer admitting he trusts Darkstalker, which doesn't say much because everyone trusted him at the time. They were under the spell. And even then, he didn't stop supporting Glory as his queen. I'm not claiming that Glorybringer is perfect or people are not allowed to criticize it. If this video didn't change your distaste for this couple, that's fine, it wasn't supposed to. It was made because I was getting really fed up with people claiming this ship is harmful by using a think of the children argument as a moral high ground. No one's gonna become desensitized to child abuse because they liked Hidden Kingdom. I saw a rumor about Tui saying on Twitter that the 6 years age gap was a writing mistake, and Deathbringer was actually supposed to be 9. I didn't find any evidence of that, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. Not because I like this ship, but because Deathbringer never plays an adult role in Glory's life. They're consistently presented as equal in their relationship. And that's the only thing that really matters for me. Well, I hope you enjoyed my first ever commentary video. Sorry for getting so salty. Let's end on a positive note and talk about drawings I made for this video. I hope you like them. I think my favorite is the one on the right bottom corner. It's inspired by the scene from Talons of Power when Deathbringer shouts at Turtle not to disturb the queen when she's sleeping. As you can see, I made a few changes for my design since my I Ship It video. I'm especially happy with Deathbringer. I wanted him to look strong but gentle and a little goofy at the same time. I think it suits his character better than just looking super masculine. Glory is relatively the same, I just changed her markings so they were a little easier to draw. Which doesn't exactly work, as you can see. I had to correct myself multiple times drawing them. If you like my art, go check out my DeviantArt, and I hope to see you again soon. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and stay chill and take care of yourself.